dream of vision. For vision, more fine lace, he can still bring his stuff. Yeah. This big giant's talking New York with a skyline bleeds. Basketball dreams in the football seas. Got a mic in the hand and a vision that feeds. In the fantasy realms where the ghost dog leads. He's a shadow on the court and a phantom on the field. Timberland stomping, truth never concealed. Got my podcast lit, each story revealed. Talk Ryan legends and hoops that appeal.
Yeah, yes sir, you know what time it is. Ghost Dog's back in the building. Over here at Ghost Dog's Big Talk. Yes, man, Combine is officially up and off. Had Joe Shane up there in the podium looking a little more comfortable, a little frustrated at times. John Harbaugh commanding, direct as per usual. However, before we get into all that, I'm going to make sure and always ask at the beginning of every video, if you haven't done so already, if you just stumbled upon my channel, man, make sure you hit subscribe, especially if you feel that vibe. Yes. And if you've been here before, the faithfuls, hit the like, man. Tell your mans in them, man. Tell them to subscribe. Help me out. You feel me? That being the case, man, let's get right into it. Combine is up. Joe Shane was at the podium. They asked him a couple things. And real quick, before we even get into that, however, ownership, I'm reading here now, just doesn't really appreciate the way that he is being perceived. Right? The New York Giants front office dynamics have sparked intense speculation following the hiring of head coach John Harbaugh and the appointment of Senior Vice President of Football Operations, Don Aponte. Right? Recent reports suggest that General Manager Joe Shane's influence had been curtailed, with some outlets claiming he was largely regulated to scouting duties amid a restructured power setup where Harbaugh reports directly to ownership and Aponte reports to the new head coach. That perception has upset Giants ownership, reports Paul Schwartz of the New York Post. Dan Benton over here at the Giants Wire goes into this article. It's a good article. You might want to go read it. Basically, he goes into the whole situation of Aponte being hired and taking over as the Senior Vice President of Football Operations. Now, my speculation in all this, and it can be perceived as a negative thing, and they can not be happy about it. However, they're partly to blame for all this, right? Ownership. Because if I'm not mistaken, right, one of the mayors, Chris Morrow, he kind of has like this, gives off this, this aura as if like he don't really want to got nothing to do with that man, with Joe Shane. So I think that's a part of it, especially when you got ownership acting that way. And then, the media's going to media and take what they can get and run off with it. So it's not like there's not some validity to this perception. However, if you were to look at it from this angle, Aponte being hired, and I'm reading her resume, she's done work with multiple teams, New York Jets, Miami Dolphins, I think the Browns was in there. Been in the league since 2017. I think this is a good thing. I think this is going to allow Joe Shane to just worry about the scouting, which is we've been reading about, the combine work, just evaluating these players, doing the legwork. I think Aponte being hired is going to allow them to get the legwork done with the players and just hand off the paperwork and the admin stuff as far as the contracts and what have you. And that's not to say Joe Shane won't have some say in it, but I think this is a positive. I truly do. I think this is going to free both of them up to just really, really do the work. And let's just worry about football, right? Her being here is going to allow for that, to just keep it football. So for me, it's a good thing. It can only be a good thing, at least for Joe Shane, because thin ice. Man. But going back to the combine, he was up there at the podium, right? He was asked a couple questions about that in particular. He got a little frustrated, a little, I think Jordan, he was like, Jordan, I'm still the GM and da-da-da-da-da. Like, hey, look, man, just get to work. Because now you're being perceived a certain way, so just get to work. And it's going to come. You should be used to this, especially with dudes like Jordan Renan. They always got some slick stuff to say, like in terms of their questioning, man. So you're just going to have to deal with it, Joe Shane. I'm sorry, man. They're nice. Yeah, no, for sure, man. As I said, this can only be a good thing. He was also asked about the skill players, about possibly adding some skill players either via free agency or in the draft because of the Cam Scatterbo, Malik Neighbors injury. He said he's confident, man. He said he's not worried. He says that they're doing great in their rehab. So that's good news. However, I'd be remiss to think that he wasn't going to at least address, at the very least, the running back position in the draft. I think he will, because he's kind of got like a theme going with running backs. He usually drafts one, whether it be the Eric Grays or, last year with the Tyrone Tracy's, not last year, but, the year before that. And so I expect him, or even Cam Scatterbo. So I expect him to get another running back, right? However, as far as like wide receivers concerned, now there's the question, right? Are we going to re-sign Wan'Dale? Is he worth the contract? Or are we going to go out into the free agency and possibly land a Mike Evans, a Tyreek Hill? These are viable options at that position for the receiver. And quite frankly, look, we've seen what Wan'Dale can do. I don't think he can be the number 2 guy. I think he's got to be like a gadget, skill, specific play package type of situation. And not that the young man doesn't have talent, it's just that size problem that he has, man. And he has good hands. Just, we need more. We need something better there. We need something more. Not necessarily better. Let me say that. Because I'm not going to take away from that 1,000-yard season that he had last year. We're not going to do that here. So I think that's something that needs to be looked at, addressed, if you will. So fingers crossed, man. Fingers crossed. And they also asked him about Kayvon Tibbs, another free agent situation there. And they asked him about last season before the trade deadline and what have you.
This is a GhostDog.
And this is New York Giants on SI. Shouts out to Patty Trainer. She has an article here. Giants GM Joe Shane reveals team's current stance on Kayvon Thibodeau's future. Great read. Basically, he was asked about Kayvon, and he said, right now, Kayvon's going to be with us. Shane told reporters at the Combine. He played well. He is going into his 5th year, and he's motivated. And you can't have enough pass rushers. I agree. And I agree that this is his 5th year. Extend it, man. Let's see. And again, hey, look, man, he was a 1st-round pick. Is he a bust? Far from it. Let's just start there, because there's a lot of bust talk when it comes to KT. And I don't think he's a bust. Now, is he worth that 1st round, like the hype of a 1st rounder? We still got to see, man, because there's been a lot of up and down with him. And more down than up, I could honestly say, but it's just between the injury situations or just the lack of the scheming. Because, look, he was active in that 1st year with the Wink Martindale defense. And I hate to go back to it with a lot of these players, whether it's the Bobby O's or the Deontay Bankses, but it's the truth, man. You draft a certain way, and then you get another DC in here these dudes weren't traded for or signed for in the free agency for or even drafted for. It's just that's not what that is. And I think this is just what that is too with Kayvon, man. His skill set might not be all there. He might take plays off here, and he just disappears for games. I don't think it's all that neither. I think it's a lot to do with the scheme. I think it's a lot to do with the fact that there's a lot of other talent, especially on the defensive line here. So there's always going to be an odd man out with the numbers. But to sit here and act like he doesn't, contribute to this defense and to the team? Nah, man, like chill out with that. Extend him for the 5th year. Let's see what he could do. He's motivated. Let's see if he can stay healthy, and we'll see what's up once we cross that bridge. Because Burns is paid, right? We gonna have some extra money. We do this, 5th year option. We'll see what's good next year with the contract. But as far as this year, for the foreseeable future, outside of like us getting like a sweetheart deal for Kayvon, man, which I don't really see happening, let that man play and let him see if he could ball out. Let's see. So that's something to pay attention to, man. I'm not out on Kayvon Tibbs, at least not yet. And just like Joe Shane said, right now Kayvon's gonna be with us. So I think past free agency, if he doesn't, that first wave, whatever, he's gonna be here, bro. Real quick, John Harbaugh was at the combine as well. They asked him a couple questions about some of the, talking about the free agency. They asked him about Wandell. They asked him about, Jermaine Illuminor. They also asked him about Cordell Flott. And he said, he quoted, "I saw guys we want back. Now, do we have the wherewithal to bring them back? And is it a good use of resources?" That's the next past of the conversation. So, look, I think I like Illuminor. I think he's just one of those like locker room cohesive type of guys, the glue guys. He's down for the team. He's decent. We need depth at the O-line. And until Marcus Bowe gets up to speed or we draft like a right tackle in the draft, why not? And let's see. Who knows? Maybe he'd be down for the hometown discount. Why not? Cordell Flott. Oh, man, Look, I'm not trying to break the bank, but he was all right. He made some plays. The only real one who we might have to fork off some money for is Wandell, and that's just off the strength of his numbers, But I don't know. It's a lot to see, a lot to go over, or rather a lot to play out for us to witness. All in all, man, I like what these two had to say up there at the podium. I'm going to be definitely paying attention to this combine, to some of these players, specifically in them trenches, the offensive tackles, the offensive guards. I'm definitely going to be looking at some of these linebackers and these corners, man. So stay tuned and all that, man. Make sure you hit the like. Make sure you hit the subscribe again if you feel the vibe. Hit the like if you appreciate the way I spit on this mic. Leave a comment. Share. Do help me help you get the best content that I could produce for y'all, because sky's the limit. You feel me? That being the case, man, Big Blue salute and peace.
From the shadows of MetLife to Mike's last track, GhostDog repping Big Blue, never looking back. Podcast sales, that's deep in the fog. Gridiron echoes follow the phantom dog. Jersey glows under moonless skies, fades with the beat, but never truly dies. He barks once loud, a New York anthem blast, that vanishes like stories to podcast pass.
This is a GhostDog mixtape original.